There are claims tonight that the region's building industry is in crisis as the number of houses being built plummets.
New research from the Home Builders Federation shows house building has fallen by nearly 50% over the last 6 years in the West Midlands. Back in 2005, more than 15,500 new houses were built, but in the last 12 months that figure dropped to less than 8,000. Industry leaders say building more homes could boost the economy by creating 16,000 jobs, as well as provide much-needed housing. Kath Mackey reports.
Anthony Deakin wears a T-shirt advertising his building company. After 20 years in the trade in Lichfield, he's gone from employing around 8 people to none and earns a quarter of what he did 2 years ago.
When we first started the limited company, it was word of mouth and work just coming. I think at one point we had probably 6 months work ahead of us. At the moment we've got 2 weeks.
He's not alone. 240 people lost their jobs after the Linford Group in Staffordshire collapsed last month. But this isn't just about jobs. New research claims the fall in house building in the West Midlands has widespread economic and social implications.
We've got a desperate need for new homes. We've currently got in England 5 million people on local authority housing lists. First-time buyer numbers have fallen from 600,000 to 200,000, meaning young people, young families are having to stay with their parents or rent with friends. So we've got a desperate need for new housing.
And more affordable housing. According to the Home Builders Federation, the average house price in the West Midlands is now £147,000. That's more than double what it was 10 years ago. First-time buyers are having to find a deposit of around £21,000. And meanwhile, the pressure on social housing is huge. More than 150,000 families are on the waiting list. That's a 64% increase in 10 years. Labour's target to build 400,000 new homes has been scrapped by the coalition. Under new rules, 40% of the 58 homes planned for this site in Leamington will be social or affordable housing. But developers say the planning process takes too long.
I think the government needs to loosen the constraints on development by enabling local authorities to make it easier to grant planning consent while respecting the needs of local people and adopting plan policy that recognises that development provides jobs and opportunities in a region.
As a company, we will go into a property, seal around the sinks.
During the recession, Anthony Deakin sold his house. He's now doing odd jobs in his rented home as he waits for the phone to ring. Kath Mackey, BBC Midlands Today.
Well, a little earlier I spoke to the MP for Stourbridge, Margot James, who's also a member of the Commons Business Select Committee, and I asked her what the government was going to do to improve the situation.
Well, the government is really getting hold of this. I mean, you're quite right, Suzanne. It is a major problem the country over. But in the West Midlands, what we're doing is we're releasing more and more public land, that is disused brownfield sites that used to be occupied by government, into the house building market. We're really going to be allowing developers to acquire that land and develop, but they're not going to have to pay for the land until they've actually built the houses. So we're going to be helping the construction industry in that way. And then the central government are going to be providing local authorities with a bonus for every home that they build for social housing, and that bonus will be 6 years worth of council tax, so that's going to make a big difference too.
Well, that doesn't seem like something, but a lot of the people we're speaking to say building in our region is in crisis. Do you think that's enough? The 2 things that you said to me, are they enough?
Well, I think the problem is that we have inherited a really slowed down situation. The last government at the last year just built less than half of what that report you're talking about says we're going to need year on year. So we are trying to catch up from behind. But I think that the measures that I just mentioned, plus the fact that we're going to be incentivising and helping local authorities bring in empty homes. There's an awful lot of empty homes in the area, and if we can galvanise local authorities to bring them back into use, that will help as well.
Margot James talking to me a little earlier from Westminster.